Guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you on behalf of the Anglo-Sikh Heritage Trail, the Sarkar Khalsa Foundation and the National Army Museum. Firstly, I wish to start by extending the apologies of Dr. Peter Boyden, the Deputy Director of this institute, who due to ill health can't be with us today. So he sends his apologies and we all wish him a speedy recovery. Apologies also for the slight delay in starting, but one of our principal guests who has flown in today was delayed in traffic, but I understand he's now in the building, so I thought it appropriate to start. I just want to set the scene, if I may, before we go on to the main part of today. I don't think it would, I'm normally very hesitant about using the word historic too casually, but I think it would not be too much of an exaggeration to say that there is a tinge of history about today's event. Because history is indeed nothing if it is not a collective conglomeration of individual memories. And as you will see as the evening unravels, that is precisely what today is about. It's also historic in the sense that the one colossal personality against whose backdrop this whole venture, this whole book, this whole exercise is set, is one of those rare individuals who has defined history in that part of the Indian subcontinent. There is a saying in Punjabi which is, एक वो हैं जो बदलते हैं ज़माने के साथ साथ लेकिन मर्द वो हैं जो ज़माने को बदल देते हैं कि there are those who follow the course of history and then there are those who define history and define the course of history. So Maharaja Ranjit Singh was one such person, and it would be difficult to recount the history certainly of Punjab, but I suspect also of northern India and in some respects the entire Indian subcontinent, without making reference to the magnificent personality and achievements of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He was a visionary, he was a leader, but I suppose from a Sikh perspective, and a purely Sikh perspective, he was also a great transformer. He transformed the Sikhs and completed a journey of transformation. And for those of you who are not familiar with, perhaps, with the entirety of Sikh history, I use that word transform very carefully. Because what happened in 1801, when Maharaja Ranjit Singh succeeded to the Sikh throne, or established the throne of Punjab, was a remarkable journey of transformation. And what makes it even more remarkable was its location. So what happens in 1801 with his coronation is that in the very streets, in the very region in which in 1606 the fifth Guru of the Sikhs had been tortured and executed, we found that that journey that started then for the Sikhs would culminate in 1801. So those who at one time, and this is recorded in history as one of the earliest European accounts of Sikh history by a Portuguese Jesuit priest, Father Francis Xavier, who recorded the torture and execution of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. So we see in 1606 the torture, yet by 1801 the followers of that faith were now seated not on the hot plates of torture, but seated in the golden throne of the Sikh and the Punjab Empire. We saw those who had a price on their heads, and the very Lahore in which there used to be processions of Sikh heads, now those processions were of Sikh princes. So it was a tremendous transformation, not only of our place in history, but also of our psyche. And the one individual most responsible for that transformation was Maharaja Ranjit Singh. There is talk currently of special relationships. We hear the word being bandied around regularly in terms of the relationship with America. We hear it encroaching increasingly of relationship with China. But what Maharaja Ranjit Singh established at that time was this very special relationship with those Europeans who came in increasing numbers to his court. And I think it's worth bearing in mind that that special relationship was not based only on the conviviality and the cosmopolitan nature of his own approach to the Sikh court, but that is very much the essence of the Sikh spirit and the Sikh way of life. That there is no stranger, there is nobody who we do not welcome into our house. So it was no coincidence, it was no accident that the European individuals to whom this publication is devoted would end up in Punjab and end up in the service of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Now, before I go on to introducing the next speaker, I just need some guidance from Bobby, if he's here, just to see whether our visitor from Europe has arrived. I was certainly told he was entering the building. As you can imagine, what we've tried to do, or certainly Bobby has tried to do as part of today's event, is to congregate as many of the descendants of these personalities who feature in the court of Ranjit Singh. And this particular guest landed from France earlier on and has been delayed in traffic on his way on his way here. Right, I'm told he's just about to enter the room. Now, I don't really know much about this particular individual, but I am going to talk about General Allard, born in 1785 in Saint-Tropez, who then in 1822, at the age of 37 years, would find himself at the court of Ranjit Singh, would be welcomed along with the other European officers who had served under Napoleon and had then made their way, having heard tales of this dynasty, this powerful, forceful, magnetic personality, who made their way to the court of Lahore. He would become very quickly a favorite. He retrained and re-equipped and even designed the uniform of what became the Fauj Khas of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Given his French origins, he was also responsible for designating the French tricolour as the standard under which the Fauj Khas fought, and within the central block of that tricolour were the words Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So here we see the emergence under Ranjit Singh of this stable, prosperous empire, but increasingly absorbing in it European influences. And those influences he welcomed because he knew, as a visionary, that when ultimately the clash between Punjab and the East India Company would come, he needed to modernize his army. And it was on that basis that people like General Allard would serve him. So this might seem terribly unfair for somebody who just walked into the building, but my next responsibility is to welcome onto the platform Henri Allard, a direct descendant of General Allard, who currently serves as mayor of Saint-Tropez. He has come here exclusively in order to join us today, and in a sense he is the ambassador, the representative of all of those Europeans who are associated with the court of Ranjit Singh. And I cannot think of anybody perhaps more suited to address today's gathering and also to introduce Singh Bansal, Bobby as we affectionately call him. Bobby came to us as a volunteer, an enthusiastic volunteer some years ago, and we had no hesitation in encouraging and helping where possible in his endeavour. And the fruition of that will be before you today. But I would like to welcome onto the platform Mr. Henry Allard. Thank you.